We're alive. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Once again, this has been a really quick week. We're back with another episode of Comic Conversation, and it is 4/4/2019. Days are just cruising on by so fast. Can't believe we're already into the first quarter of the year, like the second quarter, actually. Right. So pretty wild. And with that, of course, comes a lot of crazy news, as it does every week. A lot of stuff. It seems like, we do our show, and then Friday, everything pops off. And then with CinemaCon having just come up, crazy stuff, you know what I mean? So nonstop. That's why we do this weekly, but we could probably do every other day and still have plenty to talk about, you know what I mean? So follow on with the normal routine that we do. I want to give some shout outs to Daniel Ibarra. He was first in line, so shout out to him. And then I see Gomez as well. Hopefully some more folks will come on through here. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. Also want to maybe do some predictions for Endgame that came onto tracking. So there's some big numbers around that, so we'll get into that. I don't know if you guys read Major X, but if you did, I do want to chat about it. See what you guys thought of it. We've been there's been a lot of hype and anticipation and sort of like optics on that, being Liefeld and everything, and just like the design, especially the character design. So we'll get into all that. Also Captain Marvel, definitely want to talk about that. Hopefully wait till Edwin gets here, because I know he just loved that movie. The big thing that I'm really excited for that came out this week, the Joker. Can't wait to talk to you guys about that. I hope you guys both saw the trailer for it. Well, the teaser trailer. Yep. But oh my God, looks so good. So we'll get into all that. But first, I want to know what you guys have been up to in the past week. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on mute while you guys talk, because I need to get something. Oh, you know what? I can just do it on my phone. Never mind. I lied. All right. Chris, what have you been up to in the past week?
Just more of the same. Just kind of getting things together and just, having some fun making videos and stuff. I was actually able to cross off a couple of my top 10, like I had said the end of last week. And then also I actually did a live video for the first time in a long time. I don't remember the last time I did a live video. A couple of years ago, actually, I think. And because I got 2 mystery packages out of nowhere. And the people that send them are like, no, you gotta do live video. You gotta open them live. It was fun. It was a fun time. Get to open up and see.
Got some good stuff, right? Got some gold in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, look. Let's put it this way: if there's something where you don't have a lot of stuff to read and you're just looking for a bunch of good books, yeah, why not? It's just something to keep you interested. But it was fun. It was fun. I had a fun time opening those and just kind of showing everything, and then kind of actually it was fun to show the front and the backs of the books, just because some of those old school ads and everything, like included a Stone Cold Steve Austin gut milk ad. So Sarah Michelle Gellar, that was the eye candy of the whole thing. Sarah Michelle Gellar did a gut milk ad.
Yeah.
And just like old video game advertisements and all types of stuff. And there was one that said there was one that had like a clear smoking reference, but it was like it was, I guess, having something to do with like a motorcycle, like causing a bunch of smoke. But it said something like smoke up or smoke out or something like that. I was like, wow, they could.
Weird,
like,
really?
Like that was illegal. And I know it's not a cigarette ad, but it was kind of funny. I mean, it just shows you like just the different stuff they used to be able to do back in the day.
Right.
Fun video. If you haven't seen it, it's not super long. Even though most live videos tend to be long, not super long. Check it out. Some fun stuff in there. I had a good time, and then everybody in the chat that showed up had a good time. So, I'll thank everybody for that. But
the live videos can be a little bit longer because you're interacting with people and then showing the books and stuff. So it does take some more time, but it's a lot of fun. You know what I mean? So it's definitely worth it. Couple more shout outs. Jackio's here. I gave you a shout out, Daniel. I don't know if you saw or heard it or not. Wellington is here as well. Who dat says what's up? Nice to have you here as well. And I see Discovery Bay. So very cool. Nice to have you here with us. I do want to say, and I know he's heard this plenty of times, but holy shit, that man won a Hulk 181. That is so cool. Yeah, he did one of those that Spider-Man booth boxes.
Yep.
and you got the grand prize for it. The big old GP was a Hulk 181, and I think it was like a 6.0 slab copy of it. So yeah, it was really cool. And one of the coolest things was not the book, but seeing his reaction and just like the pure like joy and like elation on his face and stuff. Like that was awesome. That was so cool.
That was awesome.
I still haven't like gotten any of those. I don't do the boxes, you know. It's like I don't know. I haven't done one yet. Maybe I should just kind of start. Maybe I don't know. I've seen a lot of people in the community actually have won from that one, from that Spider-Man booth. So that might be a good one to jump in on. But
I would say this. You know, the hottest part is just taking the jump and be like, okay,
yeah,
go ahead and drop it, and just, you know,
yeah.
I mean, you see the joy if you get it, but then it's got to be like, I mean, people probably don't make videos if they don't. They just be like, oh, got one of the Spider-Man boxes and nothing special. You know?
Right. But then I saw the Warriors video and they got like just stuff like it.
Yeah.
The value barely paid for itself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
it happens. Honestly, it's just one of those things where, you know, if fortune smiles on you, you end up, you know, just coming off with something cool. And then, I mean, for the most part, as long as you're getting your money back, you can't feel too bad. I mean, it does kind of, it still kind of burns you that you're like, I didn't get that Hulk 181 or whatever the grand prize is. It's one of those things, but
right.
Bad, you know,
it's part of the fun though, right? Yeah. Hudat said he won a giant size X-Men #1. So that's awesome. And then they had at WonderCon, I know TiVo, shout out to Lords of the Long Box, a bunch of those cats. He was there with Milton from Gem Mint Collectibles. But he got a box there and pulled the Chromium Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Ooh.
Those are like $1,200-$1,300 books. It was a 9.8 in that, I think. So, yeah, pretty crazy. I'm going to do something here real quick. What's up, Edwin?
Hello.
And hopefully this will work.
Is it?
You know how the live goes.
Yep.
Economics won the New Mutants 98. I think Dawn won. Hang on.
Okay. Who's Dawn?
Dawn, Comic Book Junkie.
Oh.
I think he won a Hulk 181 also. Yeah. So seems like people are winning. People are pulling stuff from the community. So
well, you know, cool, right? People when they get, and I don't know, you know, I don't know everybody who's winning things, but I know that that I've seen different ones, and people are, you know, people will definitely post them on like Instagram, and then, you know, post videos up of different stuff on Facebook and everything that they've gotten. So you know, it does kind of I can say that, but it makes it kind of hard to resist a little bit, just because you start seeing that, like, you know, people are winning these things, they're out there. But it's a tough one though. It's just, you know, because it's just the anticipation of whether you get it, whether you don't, you know. So
exactly right. Yeah, it's a gamble though. You know, you don't know. But like I said before, that's part of the fun. So, Justin,
yay,
Exile Stay Comics.
How's it going, everybody?
How you doing?
Good. Man, I missed the con last weekend. It was really sad.
Oh no!
Like, it just snuck up on me, like while I was doing Sunday morning comics. So there was a con going on.
It was hiding in the bushes and it jumped out.
Yeah. It's that one I go to all the time. So it's messed up how I missed it. But I was really disappointed about that. And then last Saturday there was a shop that I didn't even know existed. Had like a trade swap day where you could just go with a whole bunch of books and you could swap with people. Trades and stuff like that. So,
yeah, comic swap meet.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
That too. But like the good thing that came out of it is like all of us like Georgia Instagram comic collectors started like our own little chat on there. So like Kingdom Comics is in there too, and Sunshine, and so now we're all gonna make sure that everybody knows what's going on each weekend, so we're not missing stuff. So. Good stuff like that. And of course, Sunday morning comics was a lot of fun. So big shout out to everybody who showed up for that. Had a lot of fun with that.
I'm glad that's back, by the way.
It's good. It needed to be back. It needed.
Yes, sir.
And then you know, of course, new comics list every week over at comicbook.com. So definitely check that out. reviews over at Comic Frontline on Friday or Saturday or Sunday, whatever day they go up.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, normal good stuff, fun stuff, just chugging right along. You know, getting ready for con to start up as we move closer to that.
Well, I want to ask you a question, and I guess this goes for everybody. But do these cons, do they advertise? Because the same thing happened to me. I had a couple of cons recently, just small ones, and I'm like, I didn't even know about them. Like,
no, and that's the bad thing. I'm the same way. Like these small cons and stuff that do pop up. Like there's one a county over from me. It's, you know, decent sized or whatever, but unless I just happen to ride by and see the sign of when it is, I'll never know. You know,
that's kind of a shame.
So I mean, but then again, how do you? It's really hard to promote that and get it out in front of the people that need to see it. You know,
Right.
Especially when it's like, you know, just some, you know, people throwing together a con at a church, or they've rented out whatever, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta happen to be in the right circles to have somebody pass that along to you. You know what I mean? Or the right Facebook group, you know, something like that.
Hey, and that's the crazy thing. Like I said, with this little Instagram group that they started, man, it's nuts. Like there are shops that these people talk about that I haven't even heard of, and they're with, you know, driving distance. So there's a lot more out there that I didn't even know about. You know?
Yeah.
In my area.
You know what's funny? I was watching Longbox Love Affair. He's from Florida. He was here. I went to a con like a month ago or something like that up in West Palm Beach. He was there on a different day, but he was in town, and I think he put it, I don't know if it was on Instagram or a YouTube video. It was one or the other. Definitely him though. And he said, yeah, I stopped at this shop. It was called you know, the name of the shop, and it's literally like 2 miles from my house. And I had never heard of it. And granted, it opened in January of this year, so it hadn't been open that long, but I hadn't heard of it. You know what I mean? So it was, I totally get what you're saying. You know, there's like, makes you wonder what else is out there that you have no idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, how many more little shops are there somewhere? And there's, you know, there's gems waiting in those long boxes. So.
Yeah, or like the antique shops that you pass by and you never stopped into. They might have a long box stuffed in like a corner somewhere. You know what I mean?
Covered in dust. And they're like, sure, $5, take it home with you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I don't know what this red covered Hulk book is or whatever that is fighting that Wolverine, but here, take it.
Amazing fan. This must be about swords and stuff. I don't know. I'll try it out, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you what you've been up to. I know you've been busy the past couple of weeks, Edwin, but I do want to tell people tonight we are doing domestic opening weekend predictions for Avengers Endgame. It did come on to tracking some super high numbers. So we're going to be looking at that. I already have some guesses here from some folks. Just so you know, and I already wrote it down, my prediction is going to be 267. This could potentially, so there's a couple things, and we'll get into it later on, but the way that everybody's buying up the tickets, plus the runtime being long, those two things might limit things, sort of, but this does have the potential to break 300 million. Like, this is a movie that could realistically do it. Not that it will, but it could. So we'll get into all that in a moment. I just want to remind people, so if you want to put those into the chat, I did get you Gomez 240. I have mine. Wellington said $1, and then I see Misexplained as well for 275. And then for this one, we don't do it every single time. Sometimes if you are closest, you get a Marvel No prize. But for this one, there'll actually be like an actual prize. So whoever gets closest, I'll send something out for them. So you know, there's something you can get if you're close.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Infinity War opening weekend was let me see, domestically was it 247?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. This is gonna
oh no, 257. 257 almost 257.7 million. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know that number when I did the 267. That just came to me. So
yeah.
So, okay.
$1 million, so 100 million an hour.
I'm in the
Pretty
wrong
much.
business.
Uh-huh.
You know, I'm in the healthcare business and I do all right, but not that much all right. Who dat 263? Okay. So actually, I'm gonna kick it over to you, Edwin. I know you've been busy with your Zumba classes the past couple weeks.
No. We're just in Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey. So that's pretty much all we're doing. But no, I did get some couple books in this week. I actually got this book in yesterday. I bought this off of on Instagram. I wish I could remember his name, but it's first appearance of Deathlock. And it's actually signed by was it Perez and Rich Buckler. So I've been kind of getting on this kick of buying signed books by people who are no longer with us. And
that's Perez's first credited work also.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that. I just wanted this book because I had it for a stint when I was a kid, but it came back in 9.0 red label. So as long as it's red label, I'm all good with that. And then I don't know if you guys saw, I think Justin might have saw, Jesse, I don't think you had the chance to see it though, but I got this book in a week ago. And what's his name? God, what's that guy's name again?
Fred.
Master Splinter. Master Splinter X. He called this a unicorn, or somebody on there did. But I got the my book back, the Batman.
Oh, I did see that on you put it on IG, I think.
Yeah, it's the rare second print newsstand.
Second print newsstand. Yeah, there's only
and
like
I got
a couple of those known to exist.
Yeah, and I got Neil Adams to do a couple remarks. He didn't do what I wanted, but he was able to mask the mark out that they did for whatever reason that they do that to these books. But it came back as a 9.4, and I'm stoked because there's not a lot of data on this book, but it's on eBay right now for $5,000 if anybody's interested.
What's the date on it?
What do you mean?
Like the shelf date, the publication date?
12/1990.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually the last, or no, 92 was the modern. My bad.
Yeah.
But it's a rare book, and like you said, there's either not a lot in existence or not a lot that have surfaced yet. So
yeah, I think that there's probably there's definitely more than that, but people don't realize, to look for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're probably sitting in, like, I have like probably 4 copies of it, but I haven't actually looked at them to see if they're what they are, whether they're first or second or what. So there's probably plenty of people like that too, who they might have one and they don't even realize it. You know what I mean? But
well, here's how you can tell. Of course you got the barcode, but the second prints have the new Robin issue.
Right.
The first prints don't have that. They don't have that banner at the top.
Yeah. That's a cool book. So it's funny you mentioned second prints. So Immortal Hulk, what do you guys think of the second print for Immortal Hulk? It's a ratio variant second print. I think the first one ever for that. Not only that, but it is a second print that has 3 that I know of store variants with reused artwork.
No.
Well, they've done that a lot though before with the whole Red Goblin thing, right? The ASM, is that around?
I don't know.
800.
Well, they've done like subsequent printings, but not ratios on them.
Yeah.
Like this is a 1 in 25 second print.
Oh, okay.
Right. So they've done second, third, fourth. I think they had like 7 printings or whatever. But yeah, this one's a ratio for a second print.
Wow, because our shop doesn't order that many second prints unless it's high demand.
Right. I think in this case, there's going to end up being more of the second print than the first print, just because of
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy.
I mean, okay, here's my thing. None of us are reading that book, right?
Yeah, we all have our reasons, but yes.
Yeah, none of us are reading that, but everybody always talks about it being so good. I never see it in anybody's like top 5 of the week or anything like that. So like,
true.
Who's reading it, and how good is it really?
People I know who are reading it say it is good. It's one of them things that I honestly, the whole reason I didn't pick it up in the beginning was just I just didn't want to add another title at that point in time, And I mean, had it come out like 2 months later, I would have picked it up with no problem. But it was just, you know, one of them situations where just at the time I just didn't need it. But
everybody broski's reading it.
I just think that I think that when it comes down to it, I mean,
Brown's reading it.
Okay. I almost wonder if it's a situation where, like, you know, is it as good as they want, or is it just one of those things where like people will keep saying that it's good, just because you know, the first couple of issues is so popular and it just kind of hard to find, so it just kind of, you know, keeps on with the story. I mean, I don't know. I haven't read too much. I picked up I think like 3 issues out of the entire run, just because people are like, oh yeah, you're gonna get this one, and this is the first appearance of this guy here, and check out this thing. So I'm okay. So I mean, but other than that, I mean, it's just like, you know, I mean, I had plenty of time to get the first one. I just never ended up getting it, and then you know, just the second one, everybody freaked out real quick, and you couldn't find it. So I agree though. Like, I mean, I don't see too many people talking about, you know, oh, like, you know, especially when they're saying like, you know, oh, the top books of the week or this and that. Like I haven't heard too many people mention, you know, oh, you know, Immortal Hulk is definitely going to be there. It's just like, well, I don't know. I mean, I think really it's just kind of, and if it is as good as it says it is, I mean, if it is as good as everybody, you know, that reads it, likes it and everything, I just wonder if it's something where it's just kind of falling behind some of the other stories where it's just like, you know, it's a really good read and you need to check it out. Because I mean, I said the same thing in a lot of my videos about the Old Man Logan run and the Thanos run, and really nobody was on the Thanos run. I remember me and Justin talking about it on the show a few times. I would bring it up every video that you know, every month that it came out. I was like, this is just an awesome story. Like people.
Oh yeah, that was great. Nobody gave a crap about it until issue 13.
So that's, yeah, and then issue 13 comes out and everyone's like, oh, you know, and then that's when everybody jumped on. So I wonder if it's a similar situation to that, where, you know, no one cared about anything until issue 2 got hot, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, this is the best series in the world. So
yeah,
I think that some people are just kind of late to the party a little bit, but who knows? Because I do know people that have been reading it since issue 1 and say it's good. So you know,
yeah. Oh,
all right. So let's check it out.
I'll watch a long video about it when somebody talks about it at some point.
Yeah, I mean the ratio thing, that's kind of strange. I mean, I could see if it was like a special, like promotional type deal, where it's like, you know, you got a few covers by, you know, or you got someone special to do a cover. It's like you know. Hold on.
All right. So, talking about second prints for just a quick second, like, how do you guys feel about that? Because it seems like it's a very common thing now. It seems like a lot of books get second prints of whatever. That's something y'all even think about getting from modern stuff, or are you just like, eh?
I have bought some.
It depends.
Yeah.
If I really like the story, or if it's an artist that I follow.
But the cover looks good. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I would say like if you can't find the first, then I mean, sometimes you got to go back. But like, I mean, for the most part though, and that's the thing. Like for me, it has to be something where I like the story, or if it's like, you know, oh no, this artist is doing this one thing. All right, cool. Then I can see about it, but like, I draw the line when it becomes like, you know, like, all right, it's gonna be like a $70 book or something. I was like, I'm not paying that kind of money for a second print. Like,
right. But it's definitely worth it, you know, if you're reading something for the story, and it's something like Immortal Hulk where it's in like such freaking high demand, you know what I mean, and you still want to read the story, and you know it should be on your pull list. But if it's not, you know, it does give you that option of picking up that issue so you can keep reading it, you know what I mean. So there is something to be said for that, but it should be on your pull list.
No, I hear you. I'm just asking because like this week, like a second print of Daredevil #3 came out, and I mean, I grabbed that because it's a different cover for the book, you know, and it's like, you know, collecting that run like crazy. So
yeah,
I didn't know if there was any of those that like that where you're definitely picking up if there's a second print of X character, you're definitely getting that, but other second prints are just like maybe the artist, you know.
Yeah, I think one of the Thanos issues with Cosmic Ghost Rider, there was one, I think it was 15, was a second print where it was like a skull, just the whole skull on the cover. I was reading it for the story, and that was a case where, you know, I picked it up because it was a 15, you know,
Right.
And it looked really good too. So I'm not opposed to picking those up at all, you know.
No,
it used to be like, oh my god, a second print, you know, but now it's you know, and now we talk about, you know, print runs and supply and demand and stuff, and you know. But in a case like this book with the ratio in the second print, like I said before, I think that this one is going to actually end up having higher of a print run and more availability than the first printing. So that's probably going to, you know what I mean? So that goes against the general rule about that. But
yeah, true.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because I wasn't here last week. Did you guys get multiple copies of Detective 1000?
No, I didn't get any copies.
No.
I'm not paying $10 for that. I'll wait till it's in the dollar bin.
Oh god.
Eventually.
I got 2, so thanks.
They had 9 different covers, right?
They had
80.
Yeah, way more than that.
80. If you
I was
count all
looking
the
on the
exclusives.
I was just looking on the front page. Oh, all the exclusives.
80.
Okay.
Like normal diamond order. Yeah, there were only, you know, like 10 or 12 or whatever.
Yeah. Do you guys? I want to just ask you this quick question. So for Neon Future, did you guys see it at your shop at all?
No.
No.
I haven't seen it at all.
What?
If you do a Neon Future, it's based on Steve Aoki and his music.
Oh yeah.
It's printed by Impact Theory. I'm looking for a couple copies, one for myself and then one for a friend of mine who's like he's a DJ. He's like super into Steve Aoki. And I've been trying to get him into comics, you know. So we talk about like sometimes like, oh, you know, like our wives or our girlfriends or whatever, like how do they deal with our hobby? And you find those kind of like the content or the title that you can bridge the gap with, you know what I mean? Like, you know, True Blood, you know, something like that, or Walking Dead. You know, a lot of people like Walking Dead. Like I know Big E's from Home of the New York Warriors, and him and his wife are like super into that. And he's the one who's big into the comics, but she's also into it because of the Walking Dead. You know what I mean? So something like this, you know, I think I could kind of get him into it, you know, through this route. But I'm looking for a copy too, just because Steve. Yeah.
Brian said there's probably a second print on April 28th.
Yeah, of a Detective.
No. I thought he was talking about Neon Future.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay.
So if you can't find that first print, second print will be out at the end of the month, Jesse.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
I'll look too. I'll run by my shop this weekend and look. I didn't notice it, but then again, I wasn't specifically looking
Was
for
on
it.
your radar?
Yeah.
I figured that's probably for most.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely cool. I would appreciate that. Yeah. Do you guys watch Umbrella Academy?
I
watched it.
You do? Okay.
It was good.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I was talking with actually with Brian B about it, and we had he had a theory, and I kind of tested it with some people, and it seems true. So the people who haven't read the source material really enjoyed it. But then the people who did read Gerard Way's stuff were disappointed because it wasn't like exact, you know. Mm-hmm. So if you ask somebody, like, oh yeah, I really liked it, ask them if they read it or not, and then see if that kind of aligns with that. But it was approved. Well, approved. It was given the go ahead for a second season. So that's pretty good. Okay, here we go.
Oh, you knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean. It's not a surprise, but they made it official, so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to share this while I'm talking, see if I can multitask, which I'm not that great at. Screen share, come on. Yeah, he says my home of the New York Warriors. He says my wife understands my obsession because of The Walking Dead. Exactly. So Robert Kirkman got her into it with you. Now you're into it together. So here's a bunch of the covers. These are all the ones that are solicited through Diamond. I think there was 12 of them. The retailer ones.
Okay, yes. I didn't know anything about all that stuff. Because when you look on the inside of the front cover, it just shows you 9 different variants in the art.
Yeah, they're only going to show the one solicited through Diamond.
Yeah.
So these are all the other ones. Nicola Scott, that's a cool one. But what I wanted to actually mention, because we're talking about like printings and all that, the free comic book day books. I know for Umbrella Academy, that's definitely one that's been pretty hot. I don't know if you guys have that or not, or we're actually looking for it. See, here's Comic Mint, Third Eye, all that. I'll just scroll. Oh, this one was one I wanted. The Frankies. Look at that. Look at that, Frankies. But normally it's like, oh, the free comic book day books, whatever. The fun reads. But there's been a couple, like the one, what was it, First Corvus Glaive, the Infinity book.
Yeah.
Like Stuff of Legend, I know, was another one people were looking for. I think, well, Marvel tends to start some of their summer events there. Like that's where they started Secret Empire. That's where they started Secret Wars, right? Yep. Secret Wars. Yep. And then Absolute Carnage starts May 1st. So there's that. And I want to say, what was it called? Six Gun, something like that. Do you remember that book?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the 1872.
Yeah. So I know those have, at least for a time, I haven't looked them up in a while, but those have kind of fetched some money, and especially when retailers have to pay. I think it's like depending on the level. Some of them are like 25 cents an issue. So when you go in there, and you see all those stacks that they're giving away for free, they actually had to pay for those. You know what I mean? So it does help if you buy a back issue, as Chris likes to say. You know what I mean? Don't go in there and just get free books, whatever, 5 or how. But they had to pay for those to put on the event for us to enjoy. So kind of give back to them and say thank you and pick something up. But I'll get off my my pulpit for that. But see, these keep going. There's more and more and more.
Oh,
yeah. This is one that I really, because I like Archerm a lot. He did this cover here. I don't know if I can click on it. No.
Yeah.
But the price was like, I don't know, it was like $70 or something like that for that book.
The Virgin.
Which is crazy. Yeah. I've been it's true. I've been kind of personally involved with some of the variant covers, making them. Couple like a Captain Marvel one that's actually now, or it was when the movie came out, a T-shirt at Walmart that was with Todd Knock. Did Ashley Witter with an Immortal Hulk book, a bunch of like Rick and Morty stuff. So I kind of like I know the other side of it. So for these, and it does. So you have a different. People have different kind of relationship with Marvel depending on the quantity you get, how many you've ordered. You can kind of work with them on the pricing a little bit, but the average unit price for these is $2.25 per issue for these. And like the trade dress one, which is the one on the left, that's like a 3,000 print run. Then you get into like 1,500, and you know what I mean? So, but they're charging, $10, $30, $80, but they paid like $2.25 for these.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I know that because I've been personally involved in that process. So it's kind of like, I can't wrap my head around paying $70 for it, but it is a nice cover.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing though, man. People, you can do what you got to do, just because the toughest thing is that, when you go to the store, I mean, like, because they're paying, however many per to get that, limited supply of them, they're going to bring the prices up. I mean, there are some people that I've seen. There's actually a store that I've gone to in Boston from time to time, that you can end up getting. I think the best I've gotten is a 1 in 25 for cover price. I mean, it happens where it's just like, they just, for whatever reason.
Was that Thanos 13 you got?
No, that
I remember that book. Yeah,
I'm so pissed off that you bought that book.
No, that actually was for $1 over, but it was
that thing took off so fast too. What did it hit? Like $800 at one point.
Yep.
I don't know where it is now, but yeah, this one's nice too. The Warren Low through KRS.
Well, we have a couple of LCSs around here that they're not participating in free comic book. Like they're not getting books and stuff because they just lose money, and they've voiced that frequently over the past 6 months or so. Yeah, I mean, because people will come in, they'll just take the books, and then they won't even really buy anything.
But that's on the store to kind of go out there knowing, hey man, like check out this, get this, you know what I mean? Like there's gotta be a reason to get people in the store. It's just like, I mean, I know that for mine, I mean, you usually go to a couple different places, just because I know some of them have a limit on how many free books you can get. The big, the limit is 3, and it doesn't matter if you buy something or not. But then it's just like you kind of go to other places and you can just get a bunch of different books, and no one says anything. So it's just like,
can I interrupt for a second? Do you guys realize I've been scrolling for like the past 5 minutes and we're not to the end yet? This is all Tech 1000 variants.
Oh yeah, and just because we're taking a break, shout out to Lords of the Longbox. Gonna have an auction tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So check it out.
Yeah.
The cool thing. So here's my thing too. I look at it where it's just like, all right, Free Comic Book Day gets a lot of new people in the store, new faces, all the rest of that type of stuff. But I've never run a comic shop, so I don't know if I would base it like to say like, oh, like this is our biggest day of the year, like we have to make money. And I mean, it shouldn't be a make or break, just because the comic shops aren't like, it's not like any other space where you're just there and you're just gonna clear out a ton of money on this one day. It's just like a lot of times, I mean, the times where I see the most people going in is when there's sales. There's a sale on buy one get one or whatever, something where people are just kind of going to go ahead and see some things. Now I'm saying when they have Free Comic Book Day, and they have like little promotions, like they'll get an artist to come by, and if it's a situation like that where it's like, all right, we got an artist to come by to sign some stuff, and we didn't make any money off of that, then I can understand where it's like, yeah, we're not going to participate. But it's just like, I mean, and I'm not down on anybody for not doing it. I just think that you really have to just look at what it is. Like a lot of people just it's usually a nice, I mean, the past Free Comic Book Days that I've gone to have just been really nice days. So it's let's say somewhere in between 70 and 80 degrees out. The shop owner has the door wide open, and people are like, oh, see the crowd walking in. Oh, what's all this about? And then you can't fault people for getting something for free if it's just sitting there. You know what I mean? That's just the atmosphere of it. So you kind of have to be a little inventive to get some money coming in the door.
Exactly. You make an event around it and incentivize people. Like Tivo just said, his LCS has a huge back issue sale on Free Comic Book Day. So,
and that's what you get all the people that are just sitting there just waiting to try to get some stuff that they couldn't otherwise get at the time. It's like, all right, so now all the regulars are gonna come out and they're gonna tell their friends, hey man, such and such shop is having they're having a big back issue sale today. It's Free Comic Book Day. Let's head down. Let's check it out.
Exactly.
In college, the shop that I went to that was like down the street from my school, they would do all types of stuff. They had actually had a lot of stuff going on inside, but then also they had a big enough spot where they could have a little barbecue. So they were able to sell burgers for $1 or something like that, and then just kind of get people all involved on that day to be like, yeah, like come on in. Have some food, come on in, buy some stuff. We got a grill up here. If you want to, buy a, hamburger and a Coke, something like that. Like, there's ways you can do it.
It's true. And I mean, look, it's not just this time of year. Any time of year, the way the industry is now, you have to be diverse. You have to diversify in what you're selling and kind of appeal to multiple fandoms and multiple people. Whether you're diversifying there or your platform, like you have your shop, you also have your eBay store. If you want to, specialize in comics, you have to reach multiple audiences, or you have to have a wide range of merchandise in your store, to draw in those people. That's just the way the market is now, and that's all year long. Yep. I do want to remind people, I know that we've had some folks come in, recently, since I said it last anyways. Cherry Coke is good. Justin, I want to get your review on the orange Coke in a minute, because I know you had that. I think it was like orange
vanilla Coke.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
see it that way.
All right.
But tonight I am drinking Cherry Coke. So there you go, Jack. Yeah.
There you go. Sponsors. No.
Representing ATL.
Yeah, right. Coca-Cola. We are doing an Endgame predictions. It did come on the tracking, and I can tell you what it was. Early tracking for it is it's a range, okay. $200 to $250 million is the range.
Did you get my number?
I have. Let me see. I
put it in the chat.
I have you at 337, which is a very nice number, by the way. I see what you did there. So this movie, like I said before, so we can kind of get into this now. Whoever's closest, and it's not Price is Right rules, just closest. You can be over, but still closer. There'll be an actual prize for this. Like sometimes it's a Marvel no prize, but sometimes we do actually send something out. So whoever gets closest will win something that I'll send out to you. So unfortunately, we do have to wait till after the movie to find out who's closest. So that'll be a few weeks away. I do have some folks. So tickets came out. We got a little teaser as well. As you know, right when they released it, basically. And everybody rushed to the AMC website, and sure enough, it crashed the entire website like all day long. I know people were trying like multiple browsers, multiple accounts, multiple computers, just to get on there. So it was pretty crazy. It broke AMC, broke the website. No other movie is coming out that weekend, so it does have that going for it. Nobody wanted to, compete and then I guess lose, against it. So they're like, no, we're not coming out that weekend. Hellboy is coming out before that. Shazam's coming out obviously before that, and then stuff on the other side. But they give a wide berth around Endgame, so they can make their money.
That even helps it even more.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only option. But I think that some people might be intimidated by the big run on the ticket sales. So some people may be like, well, let's just wait, until the next week. It sounds like it's going to be crazy. Also, it is 3 hours and like 2 minutes, something like that. So that, if you do that and then cleaning time, and you kind of average out, normal movie would be like a couple hours. This is a whole extra hour or an extra 30 minutes or whatever. It does limit the amount of showings they can do. But all that's kind of like the only thing that might impact it. But I think this is going to basically run the theater for quite some time. Jason has $1 billion. So I know that I had
$1 billion on the first weekend.
Talking about domestic, not
this is domestic opening weekend, not worldwide or gross, lifetime gross. So just to clarify, so this movie is a movie that has the potential to hit that $300 million mark, which is, for the longest time, it just seemed like that was an impossibility, but this movie can do it. And what's so crazy is Disney has so many movies coming out this year that can hit over $1 billion, that could potentially do $2 billion, like Lion King and Episode 9 and Endgame and Captain Marvel is over $1 billion now. And you know what I mean? So this is a really good year for Disney. But I'm going to write down some predictions. Jason said $65.
There you go.
Oh no, I think he's up on his stock, $65.
Oh, okay.
You can put me down for 425. I'm just gonna go with history. History's always shown that like 90% of sequels don't do as good as the first one. I'll just do 420. I'm sorry, 225 million.
Like, wait a minute.
Did I say 45?
Not doing good. I'm not tracking with you there.
225 million domestic. That was just
225.
So about 30 million less than.
Absolutely low ball, but
sequel. This is the fourth. This isn't a sequel. This is number 4.
But like this finale, like there's no way it's not going to do huge numbers.
Whatever, man. This is just like it's out there in the public, man.
I gave it 225 million. I mean,
what's been going on, man?
225 is respectable. Still.
Yeah, it's only 30 million less.
Trust me, it's going to do 270. I say 273.
Man,
273. You said?
Yep.
Okay.
And we can't go over though. I also have to consider that.
No, you can go over.
Oh, you can go over?
Yeah, I said we're not doing prices right.
Oh, we're not. Okay.
Chris, you said what?
273.
273. Okay.
Yep.
I think I got everybody.
So what are you going to do if there's two people within the same amount?
They'll have to fight it out. Trivia. We'll do trivia.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. So okay, cool. So we got a ton of people here. So everybody is over 200 million. I think that's just a given. You know what I mean? That's and yeah, significantly over. Even Edwin at 225. That's still pretty. I would consider that significantly over 200 million.
Yeah.
There's only been a few movies, you know, in that.
Yeah, and you also have to consider
club.
have prices gone up since then.
It's not gonna make a difference, dude. If you come up, you gotta figure 10. They've been building it for 10 years. People want to see how it ends. They're gonna spend the money on it. It's already happened. Like,
well, people thought it was going to break Avatar, but it didn't even come close. It took it forever to get to 2 billion, to cross the 2 billion mark.
I'm telling you, like, but now they're consistently getting billion per movie.
Yeah,
It's just
and these movies, like look at Venom. What was the prediction on that movie, and how much did that go over? You know, same with Captain Marvel. That was under, and we could talk about that now. I guess it took a few weeks, but it did cross $1 billion.
Yep.
I don't have the exact figure, but it is over the billion.
Boom!
It did actually, I have it here. It did 358 domestic and 645 overseas. So add that together, you're over $1 billion. It's the 7th movie. You get Infinity War, Black Panther, Avengers, Civil War. What was the other one there? Age of Ultron, Iron Man 3. You know, there's been a bunch of the movies that have crossed that $1 billion mark. And if you talk about Disney as a whole, it's actually the 18th movie to cross $1 billion.
Jeez.
That's pretty crazy, right? That's a pretty successful studio. Disney, when they bought the Marvel, I think it was like, was it $4 billion? Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Collectively, they've made $18.5 billion so far on these movies. That's a pretty good investment, right? So, yeah, congratulations for that. Pretty smart for them to put it where they did, Captain Marvel. You know, kind of like with Black Panther. You know, I think a lot of people weren't familiar with Black Panther. Did really well, but you had to introduce this character who would be important to this big ensemble film. And then same thing with Captain Marvel. Not a lot of people familiar. You got to introduce the character because the character is important to the movie. You know, people curious about this movie would want to see that movie. So marketing strategy-wise, it was a really smart move on their part to put it there. And it paid off because now they're over $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so let me ask you a question, because over the past 10 years, everybody's kind of grown an emotional attachment to these characters, especially like Robert Downey Jr., even Captain America. So don't you think it might have a negative impact if they actually kill off these characters?
No.
Because I think about like Optimus Prime, and you know, it just destroys the movie.
Depends on how they do it.
Kids crying about Optimus Prime.
No, but there's a lot of kids going to see this.
That's not difference.
Well, look at the way they ended Infinity War.
Yeah.
Right? They killed off half of everybody. And now here we are talking about this movie can make 300 million.
Yeah.
So you can think of it that way too.
Yeah.
But I totally get what you're saying, you know, with that. Like, we've been with these characters for a decade now. And of course, you know, there's an attachment there, and there's going to be whatever it is, you know, some people are going to have an emotional reaction to that for, you know.
I've been with these characters for like 30 years. So, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but look at Justin. I mean, Thor. What if they kill Thor? I mean, what are you going to do, Justin?
Well, there's always going to be another Thor. Like there's a ton in the books. Like if you just kill that one and give me another one, I'm not going to be upset because I understand that's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and you know where you're coming from. Like Transformers, the Transformers thing is a bad example, just because that literally. I mean, that was out for what, 2 years before. Like, I mean, you literally have little kids watching that. That's why they freaked out and like lost their shit, because it was all kids my age that like went to the theaters and like, you know, their parents was like, what the fuck did you just put my kids through? And like that's what happened. But you know, if you started off watching these 10 years ago, like, I mean, even if you were 5, you're 15 years old now, you're not gonna cry about that. You're gonna be fine.
Or
if
do they play the comic book role where nobody ever dies?
Well, I don't think they're gonna kill them off. They may like
no,
ride off into the sunset type of situation.
you know,
But
like a Paul Walker or something.
right, or no, just
Yeah, they're sitting in a car next to each other on the highway, and they. Yeah.
no, but I mean,
you know, no, we gotta go. We all gotta go do this. So now y'all take over for us. You know, something
Yeah.
like that. They could always, you know, like they're saying, somebody will pass the torch, or you know, it'll be whatever you need to be. But
yeah,
Cap gets busy because he's now the director of Shield or something. You know, who knows what's going to happen.
Mm.
you know,
But Cap's the one who could wield the hammer out of anybody. You know.
Wow.
We're still waiting for that epic to happen.
they gave it though.
Yeah. I think I think that there's going to be a heroic sacrifice,
Of
Yeah.
course,
right?
I feel the exact same way. I think that like
Yeah.
they're gonna have to do something. Like it's gonna end up. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being something where, you know, they have to, you know, someone has to die in order for the Soul Stone to work in the hero's favor. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens, and so somebody's gonna die, and that ends up being where you get, you know, your noble sacrifice type thing. I mean, and they may kill somebody else just for effect, you know, just because it's a 3-hour movie. You gotta figure. I mean, they're starting out at their low point. Okay, fine, but then, you know, maybe they give you a second low point, so it's just like, but within that, like, this is where it starts to pick back up again, where it's like we really hit that. I mean, we thought we hit bottom before. Now look at this, like we lost, you know, and it's just like, you know, gives a chance for other heroes to kind of step in that role, because that's what I think they're gonna have to do. Like if they're gonna go with the route of, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans leaving, and those are supposed to be the leadership roles, you're gonna have to build somebody up to be able to say, okay, you know, the next movie or however else we're gonna go, this guy's gonna stay in, you know, or this guy, girl, whatever, however you know, they're gonna organize a team. We have our leadership and these people here, and then, you know, those guys are gone.
That'll be the post credit. They'll be like, we need a new leader for the team, and like a door opens, and then all of a sudden it's like Cyclops walks through. He's like,
Yeah. or Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my God.
That would be hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, Jackie O says Paul Walker died and Fast series made more money.
Well, we know who's going to survive because they already got a sequel for Doctor Strange and sequel and plan for Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther.
Right.
I mean,
We got Black Widow coming out next year. But there's also a rumor that Doctor Strange 2 will be on the slate for next year. So that would be the 2 movies for Marvel for next year, assuming that rumor's right. But that kind of segues. I wanted to mention the Black Widow movie. You know who Rachel Weisz is?
Yes.
Actress?
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's in final talks for it, for the Black Widow movie. David Harbour is as well. Right? You know him from Stranger Things. He's also Hellboy, which we'll see very soon.
Yep.
And then we talked a couple weeks ago about Florence being part of it. Florence Pugh. I don't know how to say her name. But she was in like some Shakespearean stuff like King Lear. One of my dogs is trying to get my attention. She was in Lady Macbeth and some stuff like that. But production for that movie is supposed to start in a couple months in June. So pretty quick. That'll be in London. They're doing Morbius right now in London. Now they'll do that one. So that will definitely be out next year. But that, like I said, that rumor is that Doctor Strange 2 will be the movie next year. So I wonder how that will tie in. You know, will they bring back Dormammu? Will it be you know?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really, because I feel
The
like
nightmare realm. That stuff.
I feel like Dormammu didn't get a good turn. Like not to sit there and say like it was as bad as, you know, Galactus being like a cosmic rainstorm, but it was just like, I feel like, you know, I mean, you didn't really get to see Dormammu. You just kind of saw a weirdo face. Like I want him to actually look, you know, more like the comic Dormammu, but I want to see more of what he can actually do, just because.
Yeah.
Maybe be behind the scenes kind of in this one, maybe allude to him a little bit, but don't show him again until the third one.
Yeah, exactly. Like something where it's just like, I mean, because he kind of was in the first one, but it was almost like, you know, they very, very, very like small hinted at. I mean, I'll say he had about as much impact as just mentioning like, oh, this is Living Tribunal staff and this and that. Like it's just like
Right.
you know, like Dormammu didn't do much. I mean, he got tricked, which was funny, but I mean, it's just like, you know, I want to see like what he can actually do. So, you know,
But with those scenes with Dormammu, what we did get, which could be important, is time loops.
Yeah.
He kept replaying that same point in time until, you know.
Well, that's how he tricked him, which was cool. I thought it was cool how he did that. I mean, like,
right.
that was.
So if they could do that then, why couldn't he do that with Thanos?
Or did he do that with Thanos?
Dun dun dun. Yeah. Yeah. Take the Time Collectibles said all the movies could take place before Endgame or even before Infinity War. So yeah, absolutely. And I think for Black Widow, it's definitely going to be like her backstory.
Yeah.
They have mentioned like Budapest a couple times.
Yep.
And it was even mentioned in Captain Marvel when she was talking about with Nick Fury about his history and like, are you a Skrull or not? He mentioned like some missions he had been on, and one of them was Budapest. So that's been mentioned 3 different times in the MCU, and I think that's by design. So I think the movie will be like kind of like her backstory with the Red Room, you know, telling that story.
Yeah.
And then whatever that was, so like Hawkeye, her, Nick Fury, you know, will be in it, you know, in Europe, that kind of thing. So because of that, I think that would be like probably like, I don't know, late 90s, early 2000s, maybe, you know, somewhere in that time frame. So a little bit before Iron Man, so that she gets that final mission where it's like, hey, you need to go, you know, you need to go be, I forget what she called herself, Natalie Rushman, and go work for Stark. You know what I mean? So it'll like bump up against the end of that movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then they get to de-age all 3.
Yeah.
You know, just because, I mean, not by any means. I mean, she's not an old lady or anything like that. But I mean, it's just like, you know, you can tell that she's facially she looks a little older. Scarlett Johansson does. And
why are you looking at her face?
What are you doing? What are you doing, man?
You're looking at the wrong part. I'm just kidding.
No, but it's just like, you know, she looks older. I mean, Jeremy Renner definitely looks older. So it's just, you know, one of those things where they have to de-age them all and everything. But I mean, it would be cool. I mean, and it's what a lot of people have said was like, you know, it's funny that it took that long for it to come out, you know, for her to get that movie. But you know, in the grand scheme of everything, though, it's just like, I think that what really happened was just that Marvel had gotten so big, and the story that they were telling was so much more, you know, just grand, that it's just like, yeah, we kind of have to shelf this now, even though, you know, we would have loved to have had, you know, your origin come before.
Right. Doesn't fit with the narrative that we're telling.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Like, you don't go from, you know, the Avengers movie to being like, yeah, now so here's what Black Widow was doing, but it's just like, no, you can't. We got to follow this up with something big. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a smart answer there. Have you guys ever watched Cowboy Bebop? Are you fans of that at all?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I know we've talked about it in the past. Netflix is doing a series, live action series. They have you know, ordered 10 episodes, and now we're getting a lot of like casting news for that. So it's really moving forward. It's like real. It's happening. Like I said, it's live action. The guy who directed the original anime, Shinichiro Watanabe, he's on as a consultant. Then you have Chris Yost, who's done like some amazing things. He's one of the people who created X-23, for example. But he also helped with some of the Thor movies, things like that. He's been attached to what was it called? The X-Men animated series where X-23 was on it. I forget the name of it.
X-Men Evolution?
Yes, that was it. Yeah. So he wrote that as well. Bunch of stuff. So he's on for that. He's doing the first episode and he's on as an EP. So that I like Chris Yost. He's good. You get John Cho attached. He's gonna be Spike
Yep.
You know him from like Harold and Kumar and obviously like Star Trek and stuff. So he's on it. Mustafa Shakir's in it. He was in Luke Cage.
Mhm.
He's gonna be Jet Black. And then I don't know if you know Daniela Pineda. She did Fallen Kingdom, one of the Jurassic World movies. Inside Amy Schumer. She's Faye Valentine. And then a couple other people are in it too. Guy that's going to be in The Boys, which is based on a really R-rated story. That's the Amazon series coming out. That's a real like Billy the Butcher and stuff. That's a really good story. You guys should read it if you haven't. So sounds pretty cool. We'll be looking forward to that. And you know, being on Netflix, they can get away with some extra.
Well, but it'll be like who, like the star of the show, or who the big casting now is going to be. Who's going to be Spike?
Oh yeah, it's John Cho. John Cho is Spike.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the kid's name?
Oh, Ed.
Ed.
Yeah, Ed. Sorry.
Yeah, Radical Ed they call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's been cast for him yet, but yeah. So sounds pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. You know, definitely
I really like the anime, so I'm hoping
Yeah.
that this series, and you know, it's Netflix doing it, so hopefully it'll be done right.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about it also since we're talking about anime. Akira, right? It's been in development hell since 2002, officially 2002, and a lot of people say 2008, but no, 2002. When it finally went from like VHS and Laserdisc to being reprinted as a DVD.
Yep.
That next year is when Warner bought the rights to make it, and it's been in development hell since then. So I think that was 2002. But right, long time. Kind of as long as for Alita, as long as they took for that one, because that was, you know, long kind of not love story, but like, you know, what's it called? I don't know. It was working out for a long time. But anyways, for this one, Warner, it's Taika Waititi who's directing it, which is an interesting choice. I would have preferred Denis Villeneuve, who did some other stuff, but like Blade Runner 2049, he did that, right?
Yep.
I think that style would work well for it. Bunch of other stuff. I think he did Arrival also as one of his movies, which is cool.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. But they applied for and got a tax credit through California. So they got like an $18 million tax credit. What that is okay, you're going to use California-based people, studios and what have you in California. We'll give you this credit for, you know, providing work and stuff to the people who live here. But with that means that they have to start production within a certain amount of time. So it has to start really soon. I think it's like 3 months. 180 days is 3 months, right? Yep. So it has to production, now that they've been awarded this money, production for it has to start within 3 months.
4 months.
No, 180 days is 6.
Oh, wait, 120.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So it has to start within half a year. Okay, there we go. we math is hard. So there you go. So it'll start pretty soon. But people are worried because of the California thing. Like, oh no, California, what the hell? But you put it in the studio, it can still be Neo Tokyo. So
yeah.
3 months is it's 6 months, Jason, for this. So there you go. But let's go ahead and talk about the big thing, the thing that I'm really excited about, which is the Joker footage. We got a poster with it too, which you'll see in the thumbnail here for this show. But it looks really cool. It debuted. The CinemaCon was one of the big things from this weekend. Big, you know, WonderCon right to CinemaCon basically. That's where it debuted. We got it. Was it yesterday? Wednesday, right? Yeah. It came out. Mm-hmm. So it debuted there, and then it came here. It looks really good. I've been saying it for a while. You know, I think that one's going to be something really good to watch for. And I think that Joaquin Phoenix has the potential to be as good, if not better, as the pedestal that we put Heath Ledger on as the Joker.
Blasphemy! I can't believe you said that.
It's going to be a different Joker. It's definitely going to be a different Joker. They've all been different Jokers, if you ask me. But some of them have been horrible. Well, one of them has been horrible. But I think this one could be a different Joker, but as riveting. You know, this is definitely, it seems like it's going to be like a really raw kind of character study of the Joker. And it's a different Joker because it's Arthur Fleck, right? It's not anybody that we've ever heard of before. Standalone film. It's a period piece, if you could call it that. It's set in New York in the 80s, but it's very much about him being that like failed comedian. You know, that angle on the Joker. And it had a cool song, "Smile," right?
Yep.
Jimmy Durante.
Yep, Jimmy Durante.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's good. I know that Todd Phillips has said in the past he's been inspired by a couple things. The King of Comedy, which is a Martin Scorsese movie from a long time ago.
Yep.
And I mentioned this before. Darwin Cook did an original graphic novel. I think it was like around 2001 called Batman Ego. And he's inspired by that. But I also got a really strong like Taxi Driver vibe from this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys did, but yeah. And the other thing I want to mention, there was like a little like looking through the gate, and there was a boy there. And a lot of people have said it, but like, what if that boy is a young Bruce Wayne? That would be cool, right? So
it's definitely a darker. I mean, you can tell it's going to be a darker film.
Yeah.
I just think at this point, I think Heath Ledger pretty much set the kind of the platform or the standard, and I just think at this point, like whatever Joker comes after, you just have to be crazier and crazier to kind of top the one before. But I'm excited to see it. I mean, it's I just want to go and see how crazy he gets, because I don't remember if it was a Batman the Animated Series cartoon, but or if it was one of these Warner Brothers DC animated cartoons. I forget, but there was a story where you know, the Joker, they pretty much killed his pregnant wife, and that was kind of the tipping point for him. So if they do something like that, I could definitely see him going really crazy.
Yeah, all it takes is one bad day, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So that means that Brad Pitt from Seven turned into the Joker.
Yeah.
What's in the box?
I don't know. It looks interesting. I'll say that. And if you just go into it, this is an Elseworld Joker story. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset you would need to go into that one with. I mean, it's got strong actors in it. It looks like it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm sure I'll give it a try opening weekend. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that they kind of are trying to do, which I think is going to end up making this really interesting and really kind of just a different spin, is that they're trying to humanize the Joker. Yes, like within the trailer, you saw a lot of like different stuff from him. Like you know, he is actually working on the street, you know, trying to make people laugh. And then you saw that he had a relationship with his mom. Like his mom was the biggest influence on him as far as like, you know, don't be a victim. Like you know, make people laugh. You have a gift. And she says it. I think they allude to it a couple times. You have a gift. You make people smile. You can make people happy. Like it's just one of them things that like you're supposed to make them laugh. And you know, it just seems like, you know, you're gonna get to see, I think, them make him more, I guess, less of an evil but more of a tragic character. Whereas like you actually get to see how he like kind of falls into what he becomes, and it's just like it's almost kind of like, you know, not so much. I mean, it's a cool, like, I guess, origin story, but I think it's gonna be also kind of a sad story too, where it's just like, you know, this guy, you know, could have been, but this is everything outside of him brought him to this, and then, you know, this is what you have left, and you know, and you kind of know where he's going from next with it. So it's just like, I think that really can make a interesting and I think a good story. I think they kind of take an angle with it that, I mean, I initially wasn't on board for Joaquin Phoenix. Like, the Joker, okay, he's not the person I would cast in that, but then you know, I think they're really doing a lot with trying to get, I guess, a different take on it and trying to, you know, make this into something where it's just like a different experience with that character, so that, you know, maybe you want to see more of this guy or see it done right. Because I can tell you that, you know, I can semi agree with Edwin, where it's just like, you know, you have someone who did a really, really good job. And I think what we've gotten from that point has just been kind of people trying to not even so much live up to it, because I don't think they're trying to. I just think that you have people that are trying to play it that don't fully understand it because they don't have the time to get into it, or they're just not willing to put the same kind of commitment into learning what this character is all about. And you know, I mean, I can tell you that even though I had my reservations with Joaquin Phoenix, you know, I actually am intrigued to see this movie. What now scares me as far as the Joker is concerned, as far as what they're going to do with that character on another platform, is I've seen the picture of Gotham's Joker, and I mean, what the hell is that? Like that thing is just it's just so weird.
That's creepy Joker.
No, but it's just like literally. It's
I
like,
thought it was a joke. It came out on April Fool's Day. I'm like, I laughed at it at first. I'm like, no way. No.
Like the Toxic Avenger cosplaying as the Joker.
Yeah.
or it was like, you know, what it reminded me of was Judge Doom from Roger Rabbit. Just, you know, he just put on green hair, you know, and everything, and all of a sudden now that's what he looks like, which is his eyes on his head. But it's terrible. It's just like, dude, why? And honestly, I mean, I know that it's not quite the it's not supposed to be like, you know, canon and like, you know, but like that show needs to be stopped. I think that show, you know, they like, if they want to deal with if you want to have all these criminals and everything around when, you know, Bruce Wayne's a kid, fine. I mean, I can understand that, I guess, but it does two things. It make if they're out and they're fully into that character, they're not just small time criminals or anything, that like they're actually out and being the, like this guy. So now he's out and being the Joker now. Like Commissioner Gordon and the police look, where it's just like, yeah, like the Joker's been around for the last, like, you know, 25 years. No, Bruce, you're grown. I mean, Batman's hair all of a sudden. It's just like, dude, this guy's been, you know, raining terror down for all this time, and then all of a sudden Batman now comes back and he's gonna clean it up. It's just like, dude, it makes everything look so like they're not thinking of it in that way, and I know that. They're just kind of like, oh, well, we need characters to intrigue in this Batman universe. It's like that show, I think, you know, had a good like two seasons, and then probably should have quit after the third.
Yeah,
but
I will say that they've had some comics accurate costumes, and that's been one of the best parts for me. This one aside, but there's been some that have been pretty accurate looking, and as cheesy as they are, it's still fun to see that come to life.
Yeah, no, it's cool on that end. It's just you know, in terms of the story though, it's just weird. It's just like, okay, well, like I have no problem with seeing, you know, the Penguin, you know, kind of making his ranks through, you know, all rising through the ranks and everything like that. You know, I don't necessarily agree with Selena Kyle being, you know, good friends with Bruce growing up, but you know, all right, she's young and she's like, you know, within his age range. All right, so then, you know, when they kind of do cross paths as Batman and Catwoman, you know, I can understand that, but it's just like everything else that they're just kind of throwing, and it's just like, dude, it's gone on too long, really, and it's just like, you know, they're just kind of trying to pull too much, and it's just like you kind of have to end the show and let it go. It would be like it's similar to like in Smallville when they started having like a lot of like different stuff just start popping up, and I was like, oh, Doomsday's gonna be in there. How is Doomsday's gonna be in a season of Smallville? That doesn't make any sense. Like, end the show. You know, it's just, you know, that's just one of those things where I think like, you know, they're just not quite, you know, having, you know, they don't have the vision for it. They just kind of went past like what was cool, and now that's just kind of like, oh, okay, this is okay, fine.
And this season they got into this whole like no man's land thing, and they just brought out Bane and, you know, all the stuff. Like the bridges blew up, you know, like the Nolan stories. They blew the bridges, you know.
Oh wow.
So it's been an interesting apocalyptic sort of take on Gotham, you know.
Yeah, just like, and this is all. I mean, shit. If all this is happening when Bruce Wayne's a kid, parents that are not. He's not becoming Batman. He's like, look, I'm getting the first ticket out of this place. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. I've grown up with all this. Like, I'm used to all this now. This doesn't surprise me. I'm out of here.
The other thing is, they've shown the Bay? Isn't Gotham like in New Jersey across the Bay from Metropolis? So, where's Superman?
Yeah. Wow. Oh.
And Smallville working on the farm, yeah.
True. Yeah. He's still young. Kent still, I guess.
So young Clark Kent, you know.
Yeah. His super hearing hasn't like matured yet.
Yeah. True. So, yeah. So, you know, going back to Joaquin Phoenix, different Joker. I think that's a smart take. Not trying to recreate what Heath Ledger did, or Cesar Romero or Jack Nicholson or anybody else, but because Joker is such a mystery, by design. There's multiple origin stories that we know for that character. It's an interesting area to explore. And there's a lot you can do there and have it be original. And I think that's kind of instead of going forward with a fully created Joker, we've done that so many times already, right? It's interesting to explore one version of a backstory. And then it's a character where you can do so many different things with the same character and have it feel unique. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think Joaquin Phoenix has said, I understand what Heath Ledger did. He does read comics and he understands there are different versions depending on the writer, the interpretation of the characters and, their voice through that writer. So it's the same with movies, a different actor has a different voice on a character and a different take on it, respecting the source material, of course. But he recognizes that and knows I'm not trying to be the next Heath Ledger. I'm not trying to be the next Jack Nicholson. I'm just trying to be, to quote Dwayne Johnson, I'm just trying to be the first Joker, not the next,
Yeah,
that was a quote for Fighting with My Family.
It's a very smart approach. I think that's where him and Jared Leto kind of, differed, and that's why Jared Leto's Joker like fell flat on his face, because it was just like, outside of just even the character design and everything, it's like, okay, because people were willing to look past that. It was just this guy just didn't know, like I'm not saying anything bad about Jared Leto, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that in terms of his acting ability and everything, I think he just approached it where it's just like, I can do this. I know how to be this unhinged, out of control character. I can do this, and it's just like, yeah, it didn't feel like
right. He did it, but didn't respect the source material, which is what turned a lot of people off, right?
Yep.
But hopefully we'll get a full trailer in the next few months. It does come out October 4th of this year.
Yeah.
So sometime over the summer we'll get a full trailer or two, and we'll get much better take on it. This was just a teaser, so sort of whet our appetite.
It's a good teaser though. Yeah. Like, what, 6 months out? Something like that. Yeah.
This movie also has Zazie Beetz is in it, but Robert De Niro, one of my favorite actors, is in it. So that's Robert De Niro in a comic book movie. Come on, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I like that. I think that they have, I think, all the right intentions, and I think that that they may be able to make something pretty cool based on how they're trying to do this story. So I went from initially being like, yeah, I don't know about this one, to being like, yeah, no, it looks interesting. So yeah. The more they can show me, the more it's going to get me into the wanting to see it, and that's where I'm looking for. So I'm looking forward to seeing more either trailers, more teasers, or whatever they can, whatever little tidbits without giving too much away. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. I think that instead of telling us the plot, they should give us a taste of his craziness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that laugh in that teaser was like, oh my god, that crazy laugh. So give us something of that. Like show us like the depths of the crazy that it goes to, and that's going to be what I think will entice people.
Yeah. Did you know I actually kind of got a vibe of too a little bit, and I know it's not quite it's not quite, I guess, the direction some people would like to hear it, but in the beginning of was it Batman Forever, where you first meet Jim Carrey's character and you kind of see who he is a little bit. before he becomes Riddler and everything, or Joker / Riddler, just because he wasn't quite, you know, Edward Nigma itself. But in the beginning of that movie, like how they played him and how, you know, it was kind of cool to see like what he was gonna do. And then after he kind of, you know, went full out villain, then it got kind of off the rails. But you know, but he could have. I mean, like playing that, just like, you know, that broken type psyche, where it's just like, you know, you see the dark part of his nature. That it was pretty cool in that way. So that's kind of what I get from the Joker trailer.
Yeah,
which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, guys. Well, I want to hear what you have coming up on your channels, updates, plugs you want to do, shout outs. So we're at that time of the show. I'm gonna start with Edwin. What you got coming up on Strictly Comics?
Well, I shot the video, but I still have to upload it. But my CGC CBCS comparison, but just been really busy looking for work. But other than that, guys, not a lot. I'm actually going to probably be really busy here for a while, starting soon, because we just got some goals that we're trying to meet. And I'll still be in the comic book thing scene a little bit, but not as heavily as I have been.
Okay.
I just got bigger priorities, but still going to be in the loop a little bit. But I also got some cons that I'll be going to here soon. There's like 3 big cons within a matter of like, they're literally back to back each week.
Oh,
like a big con in Dallas, a big con in Houston, and then another con, East Coast Comic Con, which I might not go. I might just send some books with some friends. But then there's that, and then there's a smaller con right after that. So it's just it's gonna put some damage to my wallet. So we'll just see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll be here when you're ready to come back to comics. Right. Yeah. So, how about you, Justin?
Hey.
Sunday morning comics, please.
Yeah. Sunday morning comics will be coming out this week for sure. No problems with that one. Hopefully get another actual haul out, which I would like to do, and then maybe, you know, another review, because those are always fun to do. I don't do enough of those, and those are fun to do. So
you totally should do one, and we could have talked about it tonight. I actually forgot, but Major X.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I couldn't bring myself to buy the book.
I bought it because I flipped through it and I was just like, son of a bitch. Because I looked, I was like, all right, you know, you have Major X, and then, you know, there's another first appearance and everything. I was just like, all right, well, we'll see how it goes. Story wise, it wasn't completely terrible. It wasn't too bad. Like I mean,
total 90s vibe, right? It brings you right back to like Bloodstrike days, you know.
Is Rob Liefeld, does he do the interior?
It definitely,
Oh, it does.
The interiors and everything. Like, so the art is there's some points where the art is like, oh my god, like it really gets paid to do this, but you know, but I mean, it's just like, you know, if you're a Liefeld guy, if you've grown up, you know what I mean, it's just like, all right, you know, you can kind of look through it, and then the story, I mean, I would recommend, if you're not sold on it, as far as picking it up, just read through the story if you have to do it online, and then you know, then from there, you know, you can kind of decide if you want to keep going. I just figured, you know, a couple first appearances in there, and then also, you know, just the story wasn't completely trash. I was expecting for it to be, but it wasn't. So I was just like, all right, you know, I'll see where this goes for another issue or two, and if it's not gonna be what I wanted to do, then I'm just gonna drop it. But overall, you know, I have the same feeling that a lot of people do when it comes to buying a Liefeld book, which is it's just like, you know, it kind of makes you question some things. Just like, a Liefeld book, really? Do I want this? Do I not want it? I really don't like this art. It's just like, you know, but
it looks. Once he takes his helmet off, it looks exactly like the character Sentinel from Youngblood that nobody remembers because he only showed up in like issue 1.
Like, it was weird, and it's just like, I mean, story wise, like I said, it wasn't a completely horrible story, and a lot of it is because, you know, it's just they basically plant a lot of seeds in this issue, and the thing is, you don't get any payoff from it really. Even in the end, you don't get too much payoff. It's just kind of like, you know, we're gonna plant another big seed so you come into the next one. So I mean, and I think that's by design, just because, you know, it's a Rob Liefeld book, and it's just like you got to do something to get people to want to come back, because his art's not back to the door.
Did you find it a little confusing when he's talking, like when he was on the bike and stuff, and there's like all these X puns about like X this and X that, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, where'd you come from, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Like there was that, and then, you know, and then when was it Dreadpool kind of shows up, it gets kind of weird. But then again, and then when actual Deadpool shows up, then it gets really just, you know, for a second, confusing. Like, what the hell is going on here? So,
and the MKOI McCoy.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. I was like, dude, you can spell his name. That's ridiculous.
So, it was like a M'Baku type of spelling.
Yeah, it was, which makes me wonder if it's like, you know, if that's not even really, you know, Beast. If it's not truly Beast, if it's somebody else. And then the Wolverine drawings in there were just atrocious. I'm sorry, I didn't see one panel where Wolverine was drawn. And I was like, I like this. Like it just, he should never draw Wolverine again.
Well, he always said that Wolverine was his favorite character up until, you know, he created his own characters. But yeah, from what you're saying, he's starting to sound like Frank Miller. Like, you're just living off of your past success and your name. And
what's funny is that, like, it's like he kind of poked fun. It's almost so to have a villain in there named Dreadpool almost pokes fun at the Major X character too, just because he looks, I mean, his costume looks almost exactly like you know, Judge Dredd. Yeah. So and then you have a character named Dreadpool within that. So it's just like, so this I think what happens is that he's kind of, you know, joking at his own expense within the comics, because like Deadpool makes a joke.
He's become a parody of himself.
Yeah, and Deadpool makes a joke. So when Deadpool meets Dreadpool, he jokes to him about like, oh man, he's like, I like what you did with that look at the shoulder pad. That's pretty cool. And it's just like, and everybody, you know, likes to make fun of life because, oh, shoulder pads and pouches and this and that. So it was, you know, like I said, like there's a lot of seed planting story wise as far as how you got from point A to B. But, you know, I think for myself, what's going to take me out of it is that if he just keeps making jokes about himself, it just kind of it shows. And it's not so much because he's not writing that book along with drawing it, but it just kind of, you know, shows his ego a lot. Like if the next issue is as ego driven as this one, I think I'm gonna have to be like, that's probably what will get me to drop it, because it's literally just him making fun of himself, and it's just like, so you're gonna try to get people to pay, you know, $4 a pop to watch you make fun of yourself and you do what other people do on the internet to you all the time. Like, so, I mean, again, I would say, you know, if I'm giving
it's okay when he does it, but when other people do it, you get blocked.
Well, yeah, of course, you know.
I sent a tweet to Liefeld. I said, who would you cast as Major X in a movie? And he goes, let's talk soon, ...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that'd be cool if it was still to get him on the show. Like, that would be pretty sick. I would be able to be like, wow, this is pretty cool. Rob Liefeld's on the show. But
yeah, I feel like he's kind of like Mark Miller, Todd McFarlane, you know, some guys like that who are like, well, maybe not so much Todd. Well, he has an eye towards like film, you know, getting stuff adapted.
Yeah.
Right. And especially Mark Miller kind of like almost writes for that purpose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now Liefeld, he's got this eye towards like, that's his big push, you know, Extreme Verse got picked up, all this stuff, Deadpool, obviously, Cable. So he kind of like writes with that in his mind, like, you know, can this get picked up? You know, can I sell this to a studio? You know, obviously that's a Marvel thing, but I'm sure he has that in his mind. Like, you know, let me write something that they'll want to put up there in the MCU. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can't see them putting this in the MCU. I see them making a joke. I see Ryan.
You would need like Anderson Cooper to be this guy.
What happened?
I said you would need someone like Anderson Cooper type of guy to be this character, Major X.
Honestly, I feel like I could hear this as a joke in a Deadpool movie. But I don't expect to see it actually coming out as a movie. Like I'd be really, I mean, even just the character, like what the hell is this? But I mean, out of 5 stars, I'd have to give it out of 5 stars, I would probably give it like a 2.5. I definitely think if you didn't pick it up, there's no harm done. I just think that I mean, if you give it a shot, read it online, and see if you like it, and then go from there. That's just the one. I just figured. I mean, honestly, I just bought it because of the fact that there's a couple of first appearances in there, and it's just like, I just don't want to have to fight. Like, because what if this ends up being the next big, whatever? It's just like, all right, at least I have my hair, and it's just like.
I'm not gonna go grab one tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like, kind of a pain in the butt. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't completely terrible, but it just wasn't. I mean, it's what I expected, I guess.
It's a first issue setup type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It hasn't really
it's what I expected.
found its ground yet.
It came out swinging with big guns, Cable's in it, X-Force's in it, Deadpool's in it, you know what I mean? Wolverine's in it. So I mean, he did as many, I guess, stunts as you could to try to be like, yeah, look at all these cool characters that are in this story, and
Yeah.
So we'll see what he has for substance going forward, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. I know his books tend to run maybe 3 issues and then fizzle out.
Yeah.
It seems like when Youngblood came back, Justin, how long did it take for those first few issues to come out? It was a while, wasn't it? Like 3 issues, and then like.
Yeah, it was rough. It was like 3-4 months in between them.
Yeah.
Wow.
To the point where you forget.
Yeah.
And then
that was an issue that Image had back then too, was hitting those deadlines.
It was, and it was really only it was Jim Lee. Like Wildcats came out on time because he had stockpiled those issues or something like that. Like he'd just drawn a ton of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Wildcats came out on time, and Spawn came out on time for the most part. Everything else is late all the time.
Probably Savage Dragon too, right?
I don't know. Remember, actually, remember Pitt, like between issue 1 and 2 was like 1.5 years or something like that. It was
Yeah.
I think also too. I remember I don't think it was Image that did Battle Chases, but I remember Battle Chases being one of those.
It was.
Oh, was all right. Was it Cliffhanger? I remember it was Cliffhanger for a while.
Cliffhanger was an imprint of of Image.
Yeah, that's why I get confused. But yeah, I remember Battle Chases. I mean, like it was like the first 3 came out, and then the first 2 came out, and then it was just like pulling teeth to get the next issue, and that's basically what led to it being canceled. Was just like they couldn't get anything else done, and it was just like. And I remember at the time, that's when Joe Madera was becoming household name, and everyone liked this stuff, and he was doing all these just really cool images that were really cool looking wallpapers and stuff like that, but the guy just couldn't deliver on those books. So I think the smart thing that some artists do on Image is they'll put out a few books, and then they just take a break for a little bit, and sometimes those breaks last a long time, but it's just one of those things where the consistency over at Image has always kind of been just really one of the Achilles heels, where it's just like for some books it just ends up being the end.
Even now though, it wasn't just then. I noticed with a bunch of books now, like Paper Girls did it, 7 to Eternity did it.
Yep.
A couple of them, they'll write a few issues, then go on hiatus for quarter of the year, and then finally come back. I think 7 to Eternity just finally came out with issue 13 or something like that.
Took a long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because one of the only ones to really be, I would say Savage Dragon was very consistent throughout the years and everything. And then I think probably the most consistent book that they've had, I think, throughout their lifetime has been Walking Dead. I mean, Walking Dead, pretty much on a monthly basis, you get one. I mean, there hasn't been too many times where you had to wait, multiple months to get a book. And it's just funny because it's just you figure, there's so many titles that they put out all the time. And it's just I think that's pretty much one of those deals where it's just because they put out so many titles, they're not so much worried if one of them goes under. But I mean, it just leaves a lot of great titles, or it's just this was a fun story, but it didn't last more than 4 issues because they just couldn't keep it going. So
Exactly. Yeah, and it says Saga is taking over a year, at least a year off.
Yeah.
So, for example. So yeah.
Yep. Was it I Hate Fairyland is I guess, I mean, I guess it's finalized for now. Scotty Young kind of said that, you know, it may come back. He doesn't, because he's doing other things now, but I mean, you know, he went ahead and put that on a break until he's done doing stuff over at Marvel and everything.
Same with Witches.
Yep. Same with Witches.
That
I mean,
happened
it's,
too.
you know, like that's kind of the tough part about being an Image fan. It's just that, you know, your favorite series or what you're reading sometimes can take a break, and you know, if it's an artist that's like a big time name and that other people want to get into their companies to do other work, it could be a while. Like, there's no other, like, you know, fun way to say it. It's just like, yeah, it's gonna be about a year before we get that next Saga book. So
Yeah.
read some other stuff.
And that could, you know, depending on the title, kill the momentum on it and the hype too, you know.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
when it's like short attention span culture, you know, people are on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and by the time it comes out, people are already like, you know, well beyond it. But
Absolutely.
so yeah, so we talked about that. Chris, what do you got coming up on your channel? I don't think we got to you on that yet.
No, we didn't get to me yet. So just gonna be doing some haul. I have a haul for my new stuff, and then just kind of you know, just getting some other videos together, and just, you know, showing some back issues when I can. I'm trying to see if I can work on getting some more, just because now I've gotten the first couple of books off of my list, so I'm trying to see if I can get a couple more here and there. Just looking for good prices on some stuff, and you know, also just kind of trying to get past like this little part of the year, because you know, starting, was it next Tuesday? Yeah, next Tuesday is my daughter's birthday, so it's just like, you know, we have her. She's gonna be 2, so we have her actual birthday, then her party, and then you know, my niece has a birthday, and you know, I think last weekend was my daughter's cousin's birthday, so it's just like, you know, then Easter as well. So it's just like, it's just a lot all in this like little bit of time. But you know, I also will have a good haul, I think, coming in about let's see, 3 weeks or so, when I get to go up to that convention. So that should be kind of fun, and you know, just trying to keep the videos and be consistent. Probably won't be another live video for a while, so that's, you know, part of it. I mean, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Like, maybe I'll go live with unboxing of my of one of my top 10 books, or maybe I'll go live with my haul from you know, that convention. We'll see.
From the convention.
I don't know if like, see, that's a tough part, because I don't know if I'm gonna have good service up there, just because I don't remember if it had Wi-Fi or not in that arena. So we'll see.
eBay.
Yep, someone's doing something. Oh, someone sold something. Good job. Whoever sold it.
Congratulations on your sale.
That's right.
Well, you guys know the chimes like
Yeah, well, you know, you hang around people, you hear it like, ding, oh. So Edwin just probably sold his $5,000 first appearance of Tim Drake. Good job. So Edwin got that money now, so he's gonna be able to do some hauls, and he's back, and he's gonna be consistent again. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, or maybe somebody spent $500 on some Endgame tickets.
Oh man,
those have been up. You'd be surprised. Look on eBay. Look up
Like,
Endgame tickets.
buy out a whole theater.
Actually, I had seen something. Somebody had posted. I think it was the Key Collector app had posted that. He's like, "You got to be kidding me! Someone tried to sell it for $500." Well,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, do you really think that no one's gonna just wait and see it either the next week or the next day or the next week, whatever? Like, it's like, nope, one time. I mean, it's not a one-time show, my friend. It's gonna be out in the theaters for a couple, you know, at least a month.
There's going to be so many showings at each theater that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
None of, you know what I'm saying? So,
Which this whole thing kind of sucks for Shazam, because it really only has a couple weeks to make all its money, and then you get into, you know,
That's true.
this movie, and
yeah. People still go see Shazam. Just
I hope so. It's a really fun movie. I really enjoyed that movie.
Well, now
So,
I think one of the real questions is who is going to do the 59-hour marathon of all of the Marvel movies.
Heck no.
Like,
No.
there's a theater nearby me that's actually doing it. I was like, wow, that's. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, that's so long.
You like sleep there or what?
I don't know. I mean, it might be something where you just kind of go. You have to take a couple breaks, so it's just like you go and then leave it closing or something. I don't know. That's so many movies. I mean, it's not like, and I know everyone's like, yeah, man, gonna do it. It's gonna be awesome. Like, yeah, I have a feeling that after about let's say after about 8 hours, you're probably just like, yeah, I want to go home now.
Exactly.
Like, I have this on DVD. I don't really need to stay and watch this.
And do they let you bring food in, or do you have to buy all your meals from the concession stand?
I would.
That's where they get you.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, how much? Yeah, that's going to be such.
Unless you buy their favorite house.
That would be a fortune.
Yeah, it's like, why did you spend? Especially
if
you went, it's just like, yeah, I'll be back after I watch this marathon. All of a sudden, your wife checks the bank account, like, why are we down $800?
Right.
Sorry, the theater. I had to eat.
Yeah, those mozzarella sticks are good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, at that point, you're just hoping you're at one of those theater diner restaurants,
Yep.
Yeah.
You can order actual food.
You spend like $15 on a personal pan pizza, tiny little thing.
That's the worst. I think I saw. I remember one time my wife wanted to get nachos, and they were like $21. I was like,
God.
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, my wife
Well, you're a boss too, so.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, most people do the smart thing, and she does too. Usually, where it's just like, all right, go to whatever. So whether it's a Kmart, whether it's a just a Walmart pharmacy or something like that, and just go and grab some candy and then or whatever you want. Go grab that, put it in my bag. All right, get past the ticket counter. All right, here we go. All right, and then you just kind of enjoy your stuff while you're in there, rather than sit there and drop $6 on a popcorn and whatever. And they'll be like, oh, we'll give you a deal. We'll give you popcorn and a drink for $11, which I mean, as much as you want to be like, that's not a deal, but and it's out of the movie theater, that's a deal because you pay for those two things separately, and it's just going to cost you about like $16. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Brian says you would be able to take a couple breaks, like when they show Iron Man 3 or Thor Dark World. So, that's funny. But you guys, that is all the time we have for the show for this week. Thank you for joining us here live in the chat. We are live exclusively on YouTube every Thursday night, 8:30 Eastern, here on JLS Comics, sometimes on Exile State Comics. Also, we are streaming all the time on anywhere you pick up your favorite podcasts. SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, you name it, we're out there. Don't forget to check out, you heard the sale sign, so you know it's still live. Edwin's Strictly Comics eBay page. I'm sure he's been busy listing stuff, so check that out. Also check out Phil's Comic Shop. They have an eBay page as well. Don't forget to check out comicbooked.com. Justin does the new comic list. He's mentioned that as well every Monday, so you can take that to your shop and be armed with all the latest information that you need. Also does reviews over on comicfrontline.com, so you'll be able to read those as well. For me, I have a hopefully a haul video coming up this weekend. Got some cool stuff I want to show, so I'll try to get that out to you guys. It's been a while since I've done a haul, so hopefully it's like riding a bike and I can pick up and do it and not have it be like the one of my first few videos, which are really rough to watch. So please don't watch those. And that's it, guys. This has been April 4th, right? April 4th show. So we will be back next week with some more stuff. Hopefully some cool news. And we'll find out soon who won the Endgame competition. So got some good guesses. All right, guys, that is it for this show. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Yay.